The Baltimore City Health Department is under federal investigation for a potential civil rights violation.
Yeah, the investigation followed a report from our Spotlight on Maryland team exposing how the City Health Department hosted separate staff meetings for what it described as a white caucus of people and a color caucus. Spotlight on Maryland's Patrick Huff takes us through the update.
The U.S. Department of Justice Civil Rights Division launched an investigation into the Baltimore City Health Department on Wednesday. The DOJ letter sent to Baltimore City Mayor Brandon Scott cited an exclusive Spotlight on Maryland report from the day prior that found the Baltimore City Health Department separated employees by race for a series of taxpayer-funded equity meetings.
I think it's always helpful to have, a third party taking a look at the particular issue to, again, gain the facts, learn the facts, do an investigation to figure out what happened.
That's Cleveland Horton, the executive director of the Maryland Commission on Civil Rights, which is the state's enforcement agency for civil rights violations. He welcomed the DOJ investigation and said Maryland agencies should avoid divisive trainings or meetings that separate employees by race.
I would advise the agencies to stay away from anything that can give the appearance of being exclusive, right? Because we want to create environments that are inclusive.
Spotlight on Maryland obtained documents in a public information request that revealed the Baltimore City Health Department spent roughly $50,000 taxpayer dollars from 2022 to 2024 for racial equity trainings provided by an organization called the People's Institute for Survival and Beyond, a group that one employee of the Baltimore City Office of Civil Rights described in an email as OG radical organizers. The People's Institute helped the Baltimore City Health Department establish segregated groups for its employees to discuss racial equity in health. The groups were labeled as the White Caucus and People of Color Caucus. One document from 2023 shows BCHD organized these meetings monthly and defined the White Caucus as a group of white people who meet for the purpose of building analysis, awareness, stamina, and strategy to challenge systemic racism and internalized white supremacy. White affinity groups allow us to examine our racial conditioning without relying on people of color for answers or subjecting them to our process.
Certainly, the DOJ should be commended for beginning an investigation, and we'll see what the outcome is.
That's Chad Lassiter, the executive director of the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission, which is the state's top civil rights enforcement agency. He said his office's equity trainings focus on bringing people together to counter injustice.
We would advise that you don't do trainings where you caucus people along race, ethnicity, and indices like that, because it can be divisive. I'll also go on record by simply saying we have to be mindful that I don't think it's just divisive in this era. I think it's divisive in general.
Emails show the White Caucus meeting continued into at least June 2025, with discussions of another payment to the People's Institute that year. The Baltimore City Health Department and Mayor Scott's office did not respond to a question about whether the White Caucus and People of Color Caucus are holding ongoing meetings. Horton and Lassiter said government agencies, along with private employers, should never separate workers by race.
When you hear the word segregation, obviously you raise your eyebrows because you never want employees to feel isolated, excluded, right? You never want, you want all voices to be heard in a manner that is inclusive, and that should be our primary goal in everything that we do in all of our organizations.
You can't put trainings together that are divisive. You can't put trainings together where some people are feeling inferior, and you can't put trainings together where other people are feeling as though they're superior.
We'll keep you updated about the DOJ investigation. For Spotlight on Maryland, I'm Patrick Huff.
I'm Mary Bubala. Thank you for watching. Here's another video for you to watch. Also take some time to subscribe to our YouTube channel.